Hey guys, I wanted to show y'all what my process is for planning out my garden, whether it be for fall or spring. I kind of have a process. And it all starts with these planting calendars. I use two different ones. This one is by the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension for Harris County. And then I also use the Arbor Gates. This says Zone 8B and 9A for Harris County. I am Zone 9A. But what I like about them, they do have some things that are slightly different. But if I just need a quick glance at what I need to find, this is usually sufficient. So we are in August. And so most of these on the Texas A&M one refer to transplants, and it says that in parentheses. So for instance, if I go to broccoli and it says not to plant broccoli until September, that's because they're talking about transplants. So I come over here to my Arbor Gate one and I find broccoli, and it will specifically tell me broccoli for seed or transplant. If I'm planting by seed, come over here to August 1st through 15th or 16th through 30, so it breaks it down into the first half and second half of the month. So it gives me these codes, and the clear box means plant inside, the black box means plant outside, and the diamond means it's the best time. So August is the best time if I want to plant broccoli seeds either indoors or outdoors. If I'm moving into September, I would want to plant them outside, and mainly because it's, they're probably going to grow a little bit quicker outside, and so you're moving into the time where you'd really need to be putting transplants in the ground. So that's just an example of what I'm kind of looking at. So I personally try to only plant things I know that we're really going to eat. I don't want things to go to waste. So like last year I did plant a lot of kale and we did not eat that much kale. So I'm going to hold off on kale this year. But I really want to focus currently on planting some more cucumbers, carrots, basil, beets, onions. I'm going to get some more onions. I don't think I'm going to do Brussels or cabbage. I really just don't eat that. We do eat a lot of celery. I might try to do some celery again this year. I've been successful with celery in the past, but last year, for whatever reason, they didn't grow that great. So first I look at what seeds I already own, and I also try to tell if I've had them for way too long, then I may just toss them and start fresh. For instance, these cucumber seeds, I tore off wherever it has the date on there, but the seeds look decent and they would probably grow. But this variety is just called Bushy, and it's just one of those regular Fairy Morse seeds you can get at Lowe's. But I know the variety that does best, at least for me, has been, let's see, where is it? It's on here somewhere. Cucumbers. Oh, it's not even on here. So I had tried a poinsettia. I think it's called a poinsettia 676 or something like that. So what this sheet is which vegetable varieties have been top performers in Harris County trials, which is really interesting because sure, you can go to the store and buy a thing of cucumbers and they will grow for you, but they're not going to perform as well as these other certain varieties that have been tested and trialed in Houston. And the main reason for that is a lot of these vegetables were designed for a little bit cooler climates. Zone 9A, while we can grow a lot of stuff, we have major heat, and sometimes heat can really affect the plants. Not to mention, a lot of the newer varieties have been tested against, and now they can kind of prevent themselves from getting certain fungus and disease problems. Some of them are even resistant to certain bugs. So those are the varieties you want to go for. So for cucumbers, slicing ones that they say are the best, Diva, Space Master, Suyo, Sweet Success. You're not going to find these usually at your local Home Depot or Lowe's. If you go to a more local nursery, an actual nursery, you would have a better chance of finding some of these varieties. But sometimes you get lucky. For instance, beets, Detroit Red, that's a basic beet you'll find at the store. This is Burpee Detroit Dark Red. So the lettuces, the Bib lettuce, Butter Crunch, you can usually find that. There's lots of different varieties of lettuce, which is kind of crazy. I have a Red Velvet. I see Red Fire, Red Sails, but no Red Velvet on here. But, you know, it's also, these are just what they have seen are the top performers. You can plant whatever you want. You can try whatever you want and see how that works out for you. These are just going to be some varieties that are no-brainers. They should perform well no matter what. And you can find all of their fact sheets and such on their website, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. If you're not in Texas, then go to your local extension office or their website, and you should be able to find lots of information like this on their website. Let's see, I also have some other cool things on the AgriLife website. If you just go, to their resources and search through all of their education pamphlets, they have so much awesome information. For instance, citrus leaf miner. I had this at one point, found this. It tells you all the characteristics, and it also tells you how to manage it. Very interesting, and you're getting it from the best resource when you are using one of these extensions. And then over the years, I've made my own little notes, things that I have found that work best for me or that don't work for me. Then I have one of these gardening journals. It's a journal, planner, and logbook. I think I got it on Amazon. And I don't necessarily use it every single year, but I have in the past. So I kind of have labels here on what I'm doing. So here this was back in spring of 2017, drew out my garden and where everything was planted. And then I have a little journal of how things did, what I did to prepare the beds, etc. This is spring 2018. Made it bigger. This was a little bit bigger of a thing. And again, I journaled it. And what's awesome about this is you think that you'll remember a lot of this stuff, and you don't. You completely forget. So it's really nice to be able to go back and see what did well, what didn't, and what worked to fix some of the problems that you may have had in the past. It's also really good when it comes to crop rotation to look back to see, because you want to give that space at least one, if not 2 seasons of break from certain crops. So I planted potatoes in this spot in 2018, so ideally I'd want to wait a year or 2 before planting potatoes again in that spot. Same kind of goes for tomatoes. You want to plant something else to get the nutrition back in that spot. But you do what you can. If you can crop rotate, that's ideal, but some people don't have the space to do crop rotation. So this was 2020. I did not draw it out last year. And then they have spots to do like individual plant info if you're interested in doing that, and actually putting the seed packet in here. That's really cool. And they have logs for like perennials, vegetables, so you can put what date you started it, when did you see the first leaves, when did you transplant it, when did you fertilize, when did it bloom, fruit harvest, and when you cultivated seed from it. And so also notes, so I would put like how many days it took from the start date to actually getting harvest. All that's really, really good information. So you could really, if you log it here, you don't necessarily need to journal it and write it out. But what I found nice about journaling was I would write things about bugs, diseases, weeds, etc. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You can also do like a 1-year plan, more space for garden diary, and then it gives you some little tips and stuff about like plant propagation, and you can, this is a propagation log, pest and disease treatment log. I don't think I ever filled this out, but that's really smart. It goes over rotating crops right here, talking about soil, frost damage, wilting. Really cool little book. I'll link it down below if you're interested in it. And then I've jotted down notes as far as all of my tropical plants. This tells me what zone it's good down to, and my stars show me which ones I absolutely need to protect in freezes. Everything else should be pretty good. So this is really smart to do before it's going to be a freeze next weekend, because you're going to be panicking and thinking you have to bring everything in when you really don't. So as you buy plants, especially tropicals, write it down. Write down what zone it's good down to, what weather it can take. Do you need to cover it, or do you need to bring it inside? Do you need to not worry about covering at all? So things like that are really needed, much needed things to know. Okay. Oh, also 1 year I did a digital map online. That was pretty fun. So I keep my seeds in this case. I think this was like a CD case or something. So I made little cards like spring, summer plants, and then I would make basil, etc., and keep my seeds like this. And then I have like fall, winter plants and flowers. So this is just one way to keep your seeds handy. So I'm going to go through here and pull out all of my fall plants that I already own. That way I can kind of see what I have and what I need to get. Even though my broccoli last year bolted, it was gorgeous. The flowers on broccoli really can't be beat. They're so tall and just really beautiful fall flowers. Lettuce by seed, not until September. I can do chives and bunching onions anytime now. And basil. I don't think basil's on here. Okay, basil's not on here, but on both packets it says February to May on this one. This one says August to October. So we'll go with August. And pumpkins really performed well last year, but then squash vine borer got them. And it was very sad. Now it's very sad because I babied those pumpkins for so long. All right, let's get to planting. Again, this was back in August, but about 2 weeks later, we had baby seedlings. Most things grew great. I forgot to take any more close-up pics, but from far away here you can see the basil that was big and flowering by this time that I went ahead and let go to seed for next season. The kale was doing well and some cucumbers, so it was a good season. So that's it for this video, guys. Here's a little glimpse of my Halloween costume from this past year. If anything, I just hope this video inspires you to go plant today, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great one.